Hi, welcome back to this video series. We're talking about identity assurance. And in this particular video, I'll show you how you can provide identity assurance using MFA to your EC2 Linux and Windows instances. But first, why are we doing this? It is time to rethink security. We keep throwing money and resources to this problem, and we're getting worse results every year. But what is proving is that organizations that spend more investment in identity and access management actually do better in terms of preventing data breaches. So let's go ahead and show you how we can accomplish this. And I have here an RDP session to my EC2 instances. I have a user called Lisa. And let's go ahead and close all my sessions that I have here. So Lisa is a user that has been set up with multi-factor authentication at the Centrify zone level. So the premise here is that you're using Active Directory as your central repository for identity, and Centrify is enforcing access control and privilege escalation. And it's very simple once you have either identity service or privilege service to use authentication profiles for roles, for commands, for example, if you want to enforce access to a particular command, right? And also you can do this for Windows access and Windows privilege escalation as well. So let's show you how we can enforce multi-factor authentication to establish identity assurance. So in this particular case, I'm just going to pick one of my systems, demo 1, right? And I'm going to just try to log in as Lisa. And I'm going to provide my password. Notice that I'm not using SSH keys here, right? Because you're basically duplicating identities when you're doing that, right? And then you have to deal with the life cycle of that. In this case, notice that I have I'm been asked to either provide an option: phone call, SMS, or email. Those are step-up methods. I could have used the push mobile authenticator or my YubiKey, or I could have used maybe a radius token or something like that. So I'm going to do an SMS. Right, and the idea here is that I can get an SMS message to my phone, and once I get it, I can just satisfy the workflow with it. So in my particular screen, what I'm getting is an SMS. I could go and type the code here, but I can just also approve it as if it was a workflow. And once I have it approved, I can just click enter here. And what's going to happen is, notice that it's going to say, hey, your AD password is going to expire in 31 days. And I'm already logged in. What about now if I want to do it for privilege elevation or for access to a Windows system? I have another user. Her name is Maggie. And Maggie is a Windows administrator that has been set up with the same type of access. But in this case, it's going to be on Windows, right? So I'm going to authenticate her. So she's actually doing an RDP session in this particular case. And notice that it's the same cadence, and I can use the same option here. In this case, I'm going to use email, right? It's another step-up method, not a multi-factor method. But the idea here is to be able to use a lot of flexibility. So in my second screen, I should be getting an email anytime soon telling me that I'm getting an authentication request. So here it is, and I'm clicking on it. And once I click on it, automatically REST API will take care of the rest, and I'll be able to log in. So it is going to be the same thing in the same cadence. Also, if I want to do privilege elevation, I've also set up a command for myself. If somebody wants to do, for example, an elevation to the EC2 account, in the case of Lisa, so if she wants to do, in this case, Centrify enhanced sudo su-ec2 user, notice what's going to happen. She's going to be challenged for her password, just like sudo, but guess what? And of course, I have to just su. And notice what's going to happen. She's going to be challenged for multi-factor authentication because this was a command that I set up for multi-factor. In the case of privilege elevation on Windows, let's just say Lisa is just a regular user. You don't want people to log in as themselves, but regular users don't have privileges like, for example, looking at the security log on Windows. So if Lisa needs to run this application with privilege, she can do run with privilege. She's going to be challenged in this particular case for her password. I just basically set it up that way. And now this application, only this application, is running in the context of an administrator, and I can go and look at the event logs. So a lot of things have been happening here, and I'm hoping that, now you understand that identity assurance is very important. You can do this very easily with multi-factor. There's a lot of solutions out there, including Centrify, but the benefit with Centrify is that you get the heterogeneous platform integration to Active Directory. So you have everything centralized in AD. You can actually bolt on identity assurance like you saw before in the other video for web applications, regardless of them federated via SAML or user password. But now we have it for server access, server privilege, and privilege elevation as well.